from the registry, and you have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. In advance of our meeting together, I sent to Terry, and I assume it got passed on to you, 3 documents. One document is the proposal from the registry of our process. The second is a sample contract that you would have with the registry for an interim placement. And the third are sample expectation documents that we have prepared for other presidents and chancellors at community colleges. And the expectation document is something that we do that is time sensitive to the work of the interim. So we assume that they will do the job based on the job description. But what the expectation document does is focus the work that the institution wants done during the period of the interim assignment. So there may be specific things in anticipation of a permanent hire that is time sensitive and devoted to what the interim will do. The short kind of elevator pitch for the interim placement is that we will source candidates from our 1,100 members who all have been very elaborately vetted before they come before you. They will all have been past presidents or chancellors of community colleges. We will send them a prospectus, which basically is a description of the nature of the work, the duration, the compensation, and so forth, but then 8 or 10 bullet points of experience that Pima would like for the interim based on the work they want done. And that will be sent to our members who fit the profile of the work that you want done. And they will have typically a week to write a statement of interest that explains their experience matched against the prospectus and a resume. That material will be sent to you for review, and the typical model is for a campus or an institution rather to pick 1, 2, or 3 candidates to come in as finalists. When they come in as finalists, they know that they will be expected to take the job if they're offered. The contract that you have with the registry has a 1-month cancellation option. So if we say 12 months is the expected duration of the assignment, and you hire a permanent chancellor in month 10, you simply contact us and say, we don't need the interim any more beyond 30 days, and the cancellation is invoked. The member likewise has this 30-day cancellation, but is rarely invoked. The circumstances where it can be invoked is if there is a illness or a family emergency that can't be avoided. I'll breathe and invite you to ask questions.
This is Board Member Garcia. So I have a question on what is the cost of the registry? It's not a fee to look for somebody, but rather it's a membership. So what is the total cost, and how much are we obligated to?
It's a fee for placement. It's not a fee for membership. Actually, the members do not pay anything to belong in the registry. The fee is 33% of the gross annualized salary. And we like to acknowledge that it is typically an offset of fringe benefits that the interim comes in and is not eligible for. So that if the contract comes in as a temporary employee, which is typically what happens with state institutions, they will, on their contract, be asked to waive benefits. So they will be paid monthly gross off the gross annualized salary plus housing, but not health benefits, not vacation, not sick leave, not retirement. And so that offset is typically around 30 to 35%. So we'd like to claim that it's an offset net.
Oh, okay, thank you. Then the other question that I have is, are only members of the registry going to be considered as part of the interim search?
Yes. And one of the secret sauce elements, in my opinion, of the service that we'll provide for you is that the interims cannot be candidates for the full permanent position. So they don't typically want that. They don't want a duration of 5 or 10 years on employment. But what it allows them to do is the work that you would ask them to do without worrying about their career, because they don't have to see the process of being considered a permanent candidate. Likewise, the institution can ask the interim to do things that will pave the way for the new chancellor coming in without squandering the honeymoon of the new chancellor when that person arrives.
That's it, thank you.
Can you tell us who handles the negotiations with the candidate? Is it the board? Is it you? Is it you working with the board? How does that happen?
I'm the agent. So I work with you directly. Everything is stated up front so that the prospectus will mention the annualized salary, and that will not be negotiated. So the candidates looking at that potential will not say, well, I bet I can get $50,000 more if I just negotiate for it. It is what it is. So, and so our members know that. The final negotiations can be fine-tuned around things like a car, typically a chancellor, unless that person drives their own car, will need a car when they're in Tucson, computer, telephone. They're smaller items, but they tend to be negotiated at the last moment. There also can be, because it does happen, a strong candidate who says, I have a 2-week commitment in October. And you will know that ahead of time because we'll put it in the statement of interest, and you will decide whether or not that is something you're willing to work around. If you work around that, the member knows that the clock stops for that 2 weeks. So it's not like paid vacation, that you don't pay them when they start and you resume that when they return. But that kind of negotiation I do with you.
Can you explain for us what your normal termination clause would be? Does the board reserve the right to terminate at any time, and does the candidate have the same right?
It's a 30-day cancellation.
For reason or no reason?
For just let us know. So it's not like a permanent contract that you have to have a cause or not. It's simply a notification.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. So what is it that you need from the board? You need us to develop a list of strategies that we want to have accomplished by the interim, and then that is what you put out in your advertisement, for lack of a better word right now. What else besides those topics that we want to have accomplished by the interim do you need from the board?
The prospectus includes, you're right, those bullet points, annualized salary, start date, anticipated duration, and again, you've got the flexibility of the 30-day. So I would encourage you to be longer than you think it will take. So if an institution says to me, well, I can have a CFO in 6 months, well, I know that searches take longer, they're more complicated, they have fewer candidates, and are not always successful. And you don't want a chancellor coming in and thinking that their assignment is 6 months and you haven't finished the search. So you say to that person, can you extend for another 3 months? And they say, no, I have another obligation. So you are wiser, in my opinion, to say 12 months if you think it can happen shorter than that, because you will have alerted the registry member that it may take that long, but you also have the cancellation to end it if it's shorter than that. So those are the other bullet points to go. The other element is just acknowledgement of housing. So if Pima has a presidential house, that would be logical for the chancellor to go there. If not, then the housing is a housing stipend.
So I have a question, this is Board Member Garcia again.
Yes.
So the only thing that you guys do, your organization does, is only to look for an interim chancellor. That's your preview, right? That's what you're going to do.
We only do interim placements.
Okay.
We do interim placements from dean through to CEO level. So we do vice presidents, CFOs, enrollment, student affairs, deans, but certainly a large part of our business is chancellors and presidents. And we will only, as I mentioned earlier, offer you candidates that have had that experience for a minimum of 5 to 7 years. So we don't put a chancellor in that needs training wheels. The person will be fully experienced to come in very quickly, know what to do.
Thank you.
Could you give us just a brief overview of the selection process, approximate number of candidates we're going to get? Do we schedule interviews? Do we narrow it down to 3 and then we interview? Just a brief overview of what you would recommend we do.
I will send it probably to 30 or 40 people who are available and meet your criteria. Now that can soften quite quickly if people have other obligations or they're not as interested as you'd like them to be. So it's hard for me to say, well, I know you'll have 10, but say you will have 10 candidates. That pool will come to you for paper review, and you will at that point select typically 3 candidates. And they will be the ones, I think you want them to come in person, who will come to Tucson with me for the final round of interviews. Now, what's interesting about our process is that we do not silo the 3 candidates. They will come into Tucson, stay at the same hotel. I will do a pre-brief with them of what to expect and how the process will evolve. The typical first night is a meeting of all 3 candidates over dinner with the board. And that will be meet and greet, kind of get a first impression of people. And that's done collaboratively and collegially. The next day, there will be a round robin of interviews that each of them have individually. So we coordinate them around so that there will be 3 interviews at one time, but they're all going to different places. The next morning, typically I will meet with the board, and it's more often than not the point at which you say we would like so-and-so. And so the process is pretty compact and successful basically in a day and a half.
You said a round robin, which I assume means meeting with different groups of people. How do we collect data on what happens at those interactions? After
the meetings are all concluded, I go off with the candidates and do a post brief with them, and all of you meet and coordinate your information, and that becomes the conversation for decision making.
In your
And then
experience,
typically you bring me in and say, we've chosen this candidate.
so in your experience, have you asked for a report from the group that they met with? I'm trying to figure out unless we go with them, how do we know what the perception of that group was?
Oh, you can ask for a questionnaire and feedback from each of those groups, absolutely.
Thank you.
One more question. I might have misunderstood, but you mentioned something about paid time off and leave and things like that. And I noticed in the sample contract that you gave us it was toward the end, number 4, paid time off. It says that that is something that determined by policy established by the institution. So are the candidates that you are bringing to us, are they expecting us to give them, the paid time off and the leave and all of that? Or, because I thought when I heard you speak earlier, what I thought I heard was that that is not on the table. So I don't want I don't want us to look like we're not favorable to these candidates. So would you clarify that for me?
Well, candidly, it depends how long they're there. That I have a candidate that's in her 4th year as a chief of staff at an institution. And the idea that she would come in for 4 years and have no time off just makes no sense. So, if it's a longer duration, it usually is a conversation that Chancellor has with the board that says, can I take a week off in August? Other than that, the more typical model is that the registry member is off when the school is closed. So if the school is closed 4 days at Thanksgiving or 8 days at the December holidays or spring break, that's when they're off. But other than that, if they need a half day off to go to the dentist, that's what it is.
Greg, do you have any final questions that you want to pose?
No, thanks. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for meeting us. We will definitely be in touch. I'm sure we'll be making our decisions today, and you'll hear from Jeff Sylvan or one of the people in those areas. So thank you for your time. We appreciate you meeting with us at this early hour.
No problem. There was some conversation that we would go into executive session and talk about compensation. Do you want to defer that to a later time? Was my question, did my question go through?
Yeah, it did. Thank you. We were just having a discussion here. So I will go into recess, and let's go into executive session then. Yeah, I think Lucia will say goodbye for now.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
my pleasure.
Bye. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to take a recess, and then we'll. Okay.
So moved. So moved.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to go into executive session. Any discussion? All in favor? I'm sorry? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes to move into executive session. Thank you.